Today, we're diving into a really subtle, really dangerous form of psychological manipulation. This is our explainer on identity erosion, how manipulators can systematically rewrite the very core of who you are.
You look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Your values, your beliefs, your confidence, all gone. Why does abuse target the very core of who you are? This is the dark psychological paradox of identity erosion, a systematic internal attack designed to dissolve your autonomy. You know that feeling, that profound sense of being lost inside your own life? It's not just a phase, and it's definitely not an accident. It's actually the calculated result of a very deliberate, very corrosive process that's designed to make you a stranger to yourself.
So to really understand how this happens, we have to look at the manipulator's endgame. What is their goal? It's not just about winning an argument or having control for a moment. No, the endgame is far more total, far more invasive. It's a psychological process called ego fusion, and it is the abuser's ultimate prize.
Okay, so let's get a clear definition here. Identity erosion is a form of psychological abuse where a manipulator systematically, and that word is absolutely key, dismantles your sense of self. Think of it like a hostile takeover of a house. They don't just criticize the paint color, they are tearing down the foundational walls of your personality, your memories, your confidence, piece by piece. But they don't leave it empty. In its place, they build a brand new, compliant identity, one that is designed entirely to serve their needs, not yours. And this really gets to the why. What is the ultimate goal of all this? Ego fusion. This is the manipulator's core desire, to force the victim to function as a literal extension of their own ego. You stop being a separate person with your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own boundaries. Instead, you just become a reliable, predictable source of validation and agreement, what's often called narcissistic supply. A manipulator isn't looking for a partner, they are forging an instrument for their own use.
I know, this sounds so extreme, so all-encompassing. And it begs the question, how is this even possible? How can one person so completely overwrite another? Well, it's not achieved through one single act, but through a slow, methodical campaign, using very specific psychological tools.
The abuser really relies on a specific toolkit of psychological weapons. First up, you have gaslighting, that infamous technique of denying reality so completely that you start to doubt your own memory, even your own sanity. Then there's projection. This is where the manipulator takes their own flaws, their own insecurities, and accuses you of having them. And the glue that holds this whole thing together is plausible deniability. The abuse is so slow, so incremental, always hidden in ambiguity. Any single comment can be brushed off as a joke or a misunderstanding. This makes it almost impossible to call out, but together, these incidents form a relentless, eroding force.
And this isn't random. It's not just a series of bad arguments. This whole process follows a predictable three-phase pattern. And honestly, understanding this pattern is the first huge step to recognizing it and defending yourself against it. This is the blueprint for the deconstruction of a self.
So here are the three stages laid out. First comes deconstruction, where your existing identity is actively attacked. That's followed by internalization, where you start to absorb the abuser's narrative as your own truth. And finally, you have compliance, where a new, safer identity is born and even rewarded. Let's start by looking at how this whole process kicks off with Phase 1.
The critical thing to get about Phase 1, deconstruction, is that the attack is aimed at the very foundation of who you are. The manipulator doesn't criticize an action, they attack a core trait. So for instance, it's not, you forgot to take out the trash. It's, you're so irresponsible and forgetful, you just can't be trusted with anything. You see the difference? One is about a mistake, the other is a judgment on your entire character. They target your values, your strengths, even your most cherished memories, and they systematically reframe them as evidence of your flaws.
Now, the two primary engines of this deconstruction are gaslighting and projection. Gaslighting acts like a wrecking ball to your sense of reality. You hear those phrases over and over. That never happened, you're being way too sensitive, or I never said that. Over time, these constant denials create this thick fog of confusion where it feels impossible to trust your own mind. At the same time, projection forces you to carry their emotional baggage. An unfaithful partner might accuse you of being flirtatious. A deeply insecure person will call you arrogant. They are literally offloading their own toxic shame and making it your problem to solve.
After that relentless assault of deconstruction, the mind just desperately seeks relief. And that leads to phases 2 and 3, internalization and compliance. To stop the constant criticism, to find just some small measure of peace, the victim starts to internalize all those negative labels. The thought process becomes, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I am the problem. This is a survival mechanism. By adopting the abuser's reality and becoming the compliant, flawed person they describe, the victim can sometimes earn a moment of temporary safety. This new self-concept isn't built on authenticity, it's built on the need to survive.
But what really drives this dynamic? You have to ask, why does a manipulator need this level of control, and why does a victim's mind eventually adapt in this way? Let's dig into the powerful psychological forces that are at play for both people.
What you see here are two completely different and tragically incompatible sets of motivations. For the manipulator, it's all about supply security and ego fusion. They crave a perfectly controlled environment to feel stable, and they need a constant, reliable source of validation to prop up a very fragile ego. For the victim, though, the motivation is deeply human and primal. It's anxiety reduction. They are just trying to stop the pain, the confusion, the constant stress. They are desperately trying to resolve a powerful internal conflict.
And that conflict has a name: cognitive dissonance. This is that unbearable mental static that comes from holding two contradictory ideas at the exact same time. On one hand, you have your core belief: I am a good, capable, reasonable person. But on the other hand, a person you love or trust is constantly telling you, you are flawed, you're forgetful, you're unreasonable. The human brain cannot hold these two opposing truths for very long. It creates an immense psychological stress. And to resolve it, one of those beliefs has to give way. And under constant pressure, it's often the belief in oneself that crumbles first.
And this right here, this is the tragic bargain at the heart of identity erosion. The victim makes an unconscious, desperate trade. They give up their autonomy, their fundamental right to their own thoughts, feelings, and reality, in exchange for a fragile, conditional safety. They learn that by sacrificing their true self and adopting the compliant identity the abuser demands, they can sometimes prevent the next attack. Peace becomes tied to self-abandonment.
Okay, so after analyzing the entire mechanism of the attack, we need to pivot to defense. Understanding the blueprint is crucial, but it's just as important to have the tools to fight back and rebuild. This isn't just about identifying the problem, it's about reclaiming your true self.
There are three fundamental pillars to defending against and reversing identity erosion. Each one is designed to directly counteract a specific tactic used by the manipulator. They are external anchoring, the value audit, and re-engaging witnesses.
The first and most critical step is external anchoring. Gaslighting works by creating that thick fog of doubt around your memory. The antidote is to create an undeniable objective record. Keep a private journal, maybe a note on your phone. Write down what happened, the date, the exact words that were said. Now, let me be really clear. This journal is not evidence for arguing with the manipulator. You will never win a game that's rigged. This journal is for you. It is an anchor to factual reality. It is something you can hold on to when the gaslighting starts, and it will be your proof that you are not losing your mind.
The second pillar is the value audit. Identity erosion works by attacking your core values, trying to reframe them as flaws. So to fight back, you have to consciously and actively reclaim them. This is a practical exercise. Sit down and write out 3 to 5 of your non-negotiable personal values. What is at the absolute core of who you are? Honesty? Kindness? Independence? Write them down. Look at them every single day. When your values are crystal clear, they become your compass. And that compass guides you back to your true self and acts as a blaring alarm when you're being pushed to compromise them for someone else's approval.
And finally, step 3, re-engage witnesses. Manipulators thrive on isolation. They want to be the only voice in your head, the only person who defines your reality. You have to break that isolation. Reconnect with trusted friends, with family members, people who knew you before the erosion began. They are your external witnesses. They can reflect your true self back to you and provide that objective perspective that just cuts right through the manipulator's narrative. Their view can be a powerful confirmation that no, you're not crazy, and yes, something has changed.
All right, as we bring this explainer to a close, let's really crystallize the most important takeaways here. The entire path to reclamation hinges on one core principle. Your reality is yours to define and yours to defend.
First, always remember this. Identity erosion is not a series of random fights or disagreements. It is a systematic, deliberate attack designed specifically to rewrite who you think you are. It is a targeted assault on your very self-concept.
The pattern works because powerful psychological tools like gaslighting and projection create that unbearable cognitive dissonance. This pressure is what forces you into a state of internalization, where you make that unconscious and tragic trade, your autonomy, for a fragile, conditional safety.
But here is the crucial point. The most empowering part of this entire process: awareness breaks the loop. Once you understand the mechanism, you can't unsee it. And by using tools like external anchoring to document the facts and conducting a value audit to remember who you really are, you reclaim your factual reality. You defend your true self.
The most important thing to take away from all of this is a sense of hope and a sense of agency. The abuse is never a reflection of your worth. It is only a reflection of the manipulator's deep, desperate need for control. Remember that your true self is not gone forever. It is not lost. It is just waiting for you to reclaim its factual reality.